What is going on, everybody? So, welcome to round two and round three of the NFL draft. We were on last night with round one. Jay Root was here, and this is just a little introduction for anybody that comes in and watches after the live stream. So, we'll just wait until some people join in. So, it is time for the NFL draft. We're starting off at 7. Last night was an incredible night with Philly, the Eagles, getting two guys out of Georgia with Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter coming in at 9 was Jalen, and at 30 was Nolan. Also, a big move by the Houston Texans. Take CJ Stroud at 2, and then jump right back and trade up to get the third pick to get. Oh, man, I see his face. All I can think of was Will Levis. Will Levis did not go. Will Anderson went to Houston at 3. And Will Levis, who was projected a top 5, did not go at all last night. So we'll see where he ends up, if he ends up in the second or third round. Fully anticipate that. Cheerio. I just saw somebody put in with the 32nd pick in the 2023 draft. Somebody picks up the Steelers picked Bobby Boucher, and that made me chuckle a good bit. That was pretty funny. So the draft is started. So it looks like the Steelers are on the clock, but we do not see anything that they have picked. So again, big names still left out there. You have Jalen Hyatt at Tennessee. You've got Will Levis out of Kentucky. There's still a lot of good players left on the board. So Keely Ringo out of Georgia, and then BJ Ojolari. His older brother Aziz played at Georgia, but BJ played at LSU. Still on the board. Big O Darnell Washington. I think he's the second graded tight end left. Michael Mayer still being on the board right now. Dalton Kincaid went last night. Bills. and then Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee. All of them are at home, so none of them are in the green room. I would suspect the Rams pick a quarterback. Stafford's the only one that got on uh, contract, so I would anticipate the Rams picking up a QB here, keep the salary cap down. Brian Branch out of Alabama is still available as well in the secondary. And what can the Eagles do? Can the Eagles just go stack defense anymore? That the Eagles have had 2 years of incredible draft. Goodell is coming up. We've got Armed Forces behind him. That's pretty cool. And he's getting ferociously booed. And he's eating it up. Boo. So the military behind him looks Air Force. That's what I want to say. But that film's huge outside. So I don't want to say all the military is Air Force, but it looks. No, there's so a few are Marines. So it is all four branches, five branches, six branches. I forget about the Space Force. Sorry, boys. So no, it's Air Force, Space Force, Marines, Army, Navy, and the Coast Guard. So that's pretty cool. And then a USA champ breaks out, which is awesome. That's cool. The stage is right in front of the World War One memorial. So they're honoring vets, which is awesome. So shout out NFL honoring veterans and soldiers that have served the country. Way to go. We had one guy drop in for like a second and then dipped out. All right, so now Pittsburgh's on the clock. There we go. And man, booed. Good Lord, the booing is commencing. So the reason Steelers have this is they have the 32nd overall pick. They traded that. No, the Steelers received the 32nd overall pick and gave the Bears wide receiver Chase Claypool, veteran there. And anybody doesn't know, obviously, I'm pulling for any Georgia player to get drafted tonight. Love those guys. I know you can't tell by the wall behind me. So Steelers have 5:45 left on the clock. I doubt they go quarterback. I know Levis is the best available. Um, Steelers to me, I think would go with one of the lines, maybe a wideout because they had a late run of wideouts last night. Um, 32nd overall picks named first off. So 32nd overall picks: Drew Brees, Lamar Jackson, Logan Mankins, back in the day, Fred Smith. But obviously, Brees and Lamar Jackson are the title holders there for the 32nd overall pick, being absolute studs. I was going to say Joey Porter Jr. right here. You've got their division has strong quarterbacks. Joey Porter Jr. looks like a good idea. Cornerback seems like a good idea for the Steelers. They did go Broderick Jones out of Georgia yesterday to help the offensive line. So maybe right here, oh, Joey Porter is about to roll. It's definitely what the Steelers fans want. They are chanting Joey very hard. So Hendon Hooker, best QBs available. Levis, Hooker, Hayner, Thompson, Robinson out of USC. This is according to Mel Kiper, so don't put a whole lot into it, but that seems the best quarterbacks available. And back-to-back national champions is not in the top four. I do love Jalen Hyatt and Jonathan Mingo as the best wideouts. I would not be surprised if both of them go in the second round. Tillman is available. Josh Downs out of North Carolina. So wide receivers, huge. Tight ends, you got Michael Mayer at the top. To me, I think Darnell Washington second. They've got him third. Musgrave is fourth. Yeah, last night the Texans pulling a crazy. This only happened one other time in the NFL draft. Was having two of the top three picks. Last night was one of two times that's ever happened, and they went and got their franchise quarterback in C.J. Stroud out of Ohio State, and traded back up with the Cardinals to get three to go get Will Anderson, which is awesome. So the Steelers pick is in. Last year, their first round pick was Kenny Pickett. That's why I'm thinking they're going to roll with Kenny Pickett out of Pitt. And it seems like cornerback right here is definitely the move. So the Steelers pick is in. They've got 7 minutes between picks today in the second round, and then 5 minutes in the third round between picks. How Christian Gonzalez fell to 17 and went to the Patriots, crazy. Just crazy. I have no idea how that happened, but it did. Jack Campbell of Iowa went to the Lions. Buccaneers got a defensive tackle, Nancy out of Pitt. So yeah, Steelers pick is in. They're about to announce. Got Broderick Jones at 14, offensive lineman out of Georgia. There was a stat. He played 468 straight snaps without allowing a sack. So that's telling. We got a gold jacket, announce the Steelers pick. And the Steelers pick Joey Porter Jr., which is what the huge reaction, huge pop from the crowd. That's what the crowd wanted. They were chanting Joey. It seemed like a smart pick and a good fit for the Steelers. They need help at cornerback. They need help bringing in their in division quarterbacks. And Joey Porter Jr., of course, coming out of Penn State, looking great. And it also helps having that big game experience. If you've ever been to a whiteout at Penn State, that atmosphere is electric. Let me tell you. So huge, huge pickup for the Steelers. In 2022, no touchdowns allowed in 256 plays in coverage. Never allowed, didn't allow the touchdown. I mean, that's incredible. Of course, Joey Porter Sr., NFL guy, Joey Porter Jr. coming in. It's great. So that is, we're looking at highlights right now, and he's really good. Like he's fast, a little handsy, which they do stay on a stickler a little bit more in the NFL than they do in college. So that usually ends up as an interference call to NFL. But it's an incredible spot. The Cardinals are on the clock. Got 3 minutes left. Traded out of the third pick last night. But the Steelers organization looks very happy to have Joey Porter Jr. up there. And they should be. Great cornerback. Corner. I know my Southern over here not helping. Between quarter and corner. But yeah, I think it's great. Roderick Jones, offensive tackle, and then Joey Porter Jr. coming in at 14 and 32 respectively. They're doing great. They're doing a really good job. So you're not looking at huge playmakers. Um, well, Joey Porter Jr. is a huge playmaker, but you're not looking at these flashy wideouts, the running backs, the quarterbacks, anything like that. But I like it. Looks like Cardinals need defensive end, which those went a good bit last night. Defensive end, Keon White out of Georgia Tech, still available. Derek Hall out of Auburn, Bob Young out of Tennessee. But I don't know if the Cardinals are looking at trading again. Maybe they are. Only 90 seconds left on the clock for them. So interesting. Interesting right here. Still, I like Brian Branch here. They need help in the secondary. If he can move from safety to cornerback, I would. I mean, Brian Branch looked great at Alabama. So, big name. Cardinals took Paris Johnson Jr. at the sixth pick last night to protect Kyler. Yep. What did I think? The Cardinals trade, and that's what's going to happen. They just traded their pick to Tennessee. Tennessee Titans now have number 33. So this may be a QB. This may be Will Levis right here. Maybe Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker played at Tennessee. Tennessee Titans going after a quarterback. The pick is in. They knew who they wanted for that trade. I'm curious to see with Levis and then Hooker. Hooker with coming off the ACL injury. Hooker being 25. Levis, they're saying, has a big body comparable to Josh Allen, but has a lot of work to do in decision making. So I'm curious. Last year they took Traylon Burks in the first round. So we'll see what Tennessee does. And anybody that knows me knows I love Nashville. Obviously, I like the Seahawks. I'm rooting for all the Georgia players up in Philly because they're just building their defense out of Georgia, and I like for the Falcons to win. But man, I don't really know if I have a favorite team in the NFL. In college football, I know who I love, and that's Georgia, and then I know who I don't like, and that's other teams. But when it comes to the NFL, because I play fantasy the way I do, I'm much more of a player person. I like the Seahawks a good bit. I like when the Falcons do well, but I love Nashville. I'm good with the Titans. I think they're a good organization. I think they need to work a little bit harder to get to the upper echelon of the NFL. Um, but if you have a chance to go to Nissan Stadium in Nashville and spend a weekend, it is absolutely worth it. I love watching football up there, and I just like the experience of NFL games. So I don't care if I'm in Nashville, um, Atlanta, Seattle, anyone in Charlotte. Not so much in New Orleans because they really hate Falcons people. Take the Tennessee Titans. Goodell's talking. We're going to see who 33 is right here. So there goes Will Levis, what we thought. So quarterback, Will Levis finally comes off the board. And honestly, kind of fit the Titans. I really thought the connection that he had with Tennessee over in Knoxville just move over. I think Hendon Hooker is a better quarterback prospect, but we'll see. We'll see how Levis works out for the Titans. I don't think it. You know, so we're looking at just highlights right here. I'm not saying he's not tough. He does take tough hits. He runs the ball, but some of the decision making was not great, and I think that was one of the big knocks on Levis. So I don't know. I'm not really high on Levis. So that is the fourth quarterback drafted in the second round in the last six drafts. So quarterbacks don't really go in the second round. Not a big thing. Again, I think Hendon Hooker's a better prospect. I know that the age gets people nervous about Hendon, and coming off the ACL tear, that's always scary. And I'm not doubting Levis's toughness, but I'm just not huge on Will Levis. But hey, Tennessee saw something in him, moved up, got him. They got who they wanted to get. So shout out to Will Levis. He's now an NFL player. So congratulations to that young man. So the last quarterback to be selected 33rd overall was Brett Favre, 91. Oh, the Lions pick is already in. Here we go. Detroit's ready. So Sam Laporta, the tight end from Iowa. So Mayor nor Darnell Washington go. Wow, that's kind of a shocker to me. Maybe not to everybody else. but I definitely thought Mayer would have went before Laporta. I don't know what happened. I love the Dalton Kincaid pick over everybody, but this one is a little confusing to me. I thought Michael Mayer would have been, but he looks tough. Obviously, if you're playing for Iowa, that's huge. But big pickup, tough pickup. He's a tough kid, good blocking tight end. So they have now got Jameer Gibbs out of Alabama, Jack Campbell out of Iowa, and Sam Laporta out of Iowa. So they like Iowa players up in Detroit. So so they're going to take a break. Indy is on the clock. Indy's on the clock, and then the Rams, and then Seattle. So that's the next three picks at 35, 36, and 37. So we're on a commercial break, and I got a few texts coming in talking about what Atlanta could do if Ryan Branch falls down to Atlanta. That would be interesting. So the Raiders at 35, I guess they traded. Raiders are now the pick is in. So okay, interesting. I think this may be where Branch goes. So we're about a half hour in. Nobody's in, which is fun. But if you do happen to rewatch this later, it's okay. We're just covering everything. I know it's not as exciting as the Pat McAfee first round draft extravaganza that happened. But I'm just doing it for anybody that maybe at work, maybe may not be able to watch anything, but maybe may be able to listen, no some headphones on or anything. So we're just keep cruising. And if anybody joins in, welcome, welcome. So we are back. Key departures: Derek Carr, Darren Waller obviously left Vegas. We have joked a little bit about what Vegas needs most is front end help, but they do have very adamant fans. Colts traded and getting booed again. And there goes Michael Mayer. So back to back tight ends right there, which they lost Darren Waller, and somehow Michael Mayer fell to them right there, so they traded up to go get him. I guess they thought there was going to be a little bit of a run there, like the Whiteouts did last night. He is a sure-handed guy. He's less of a blocking tight end, much more of a pass-catching tight end. Did a great job at Notre Dame, but the route running, I think, makes up for his lack of speed. So he's not that fast of a guy, but absolutely does route running well. I mean, he's a good blocker. Tight ends need to have a good balance between blocking and everything, but he definitely was more used at Notre Dame in the pass catching. Um, but it's a good pickup for them, especially having to replace Darren Waller. So I'm looking at the Raiders. First pick didn't make a lot of sense to me. Second pick makes a ton of sense. And here we've got the LA Rams on the clock. They've got 2.5 minutes left. And we'll see what Rams do. Again, I think that they only have one QB on contract. This may be a QB thing. And Hooker could look right here. I wouldn't mind it. But no, Stetson Bennett is going to be a 6th or 7th round if he gets drafted. So the Rams didn't have a first-round pick last year. Didn't really do anything because Rams had a terrible Super Bowl hangover. And let's see what they do right here. I think it is definitely QB. We've had a couple people pop in, pop out to see. I guess they were looking at my big hat. So there we go. 2 tight ends back to back, Florida, and then the Raiders pick up Michael Mayer, which is everybody kind of thought the Rams pick is in. Picks remaining for the Rams is 11. Wow, they were 5-11 last year. Not a great year. Like I said, huge Super Bowl hangover. So we're just waiting on the commercials to be over. Everybody to make their money. But the Rams pick is in, and then it's Seattle, and then Indy, who just traded to Vegas to give them that pick with Michael Mayer. But the Rams are not trading. The Rams are going to take it. I still think it's a quarterback. Maybe they find value later. And I'm texting in a group chat as well, and they're going, Hooker might go right here. I don't know he'll be available later for the Rams. So this could incredibly be, absolutely be, Hendon Hooker, which I do think, even with the age coming off the ACL tear, I think it like he's good. He's especially coachable. The Tennessee staff said that for sure. So pick is in. Seattle, I think, is on the clock. And then, like I said, Indianapolis has 38. So this is the first pick for the Rams. They didn't have a pick last night. So it was the worst record by a defending Super Bowl champion. And in NFL history, 5-12, Stafford missed 8 games with concussion in his neck. Obviously, was injured. 2 defensive starters stay from the Super Bowl spot. 2 out of 11. 2 starters stay from the Super Bowl winning Rams until today. So they may go defense. We don't know. Let's check it out. Goodell is starting to walk out. Oh, nope, it's not Goodell. Sorry, I misspoke. The Rams fans very excited. Steve Avila, TCU guard. So obviously we saw him in the national championship game, in the semifinal game, 6'3", 332, big guard, and did well protecting Max Duggan. Max Duggan was able to run. He was first team All Big 12 in 22. So big guy to shore up the inside of that line, which was a problem. But maybe they've got an eye on a quarterback who can value later. They do have a ton of picks in this draft. But Steve Vila at TCU goes, obviously, had a lot, of film between the semifinals and the national championship game. And the Seahawks are on the clock. Seahawks pick is already in. They have 8 more picks in this. They were at 9-8 last year. And again, the Seahawks picked up a quarterback at number 5, and then picked up Jackson Smith and Jigba as a weapon for Geno Smith. Still curious if they go. So here we go. Seattle's already got it in, and we're going out. Goodell is up, getting food, obviously. Seahawks pick Derek Hall, defensive end out of Auburn. 19 sacks, 36 games. He's a handful. Come out of Auburn. They didn't have a great year last year, but 4.5 speed off the edge, 6'3", 254. So he is quick. But again, we're reviewing a bit of film right here. Quick and a safety right there against Arkansas. So he gets off. So Indy trades the pick to the Falcons. Here we go. So Atlanta traded up. Let's see what they do. What is Atlanta going to do? Did they go get Big O right here? So Atlanta obviously traded up. There's somebody there. And I think this is either Brian Branch or Big O, because the tight end started to go. That may start a little run, and they may have got a little nervous. Trade up with Indy to go get it. Brian Branch is definitely a thought process here. So let's see what the Falcons do. 7-10 last year, last in the NFC South, missed the playoffs. Not great in passing yards. We're not good on the road. We're good at home. So we see inside the Falcons draft room, there's Arthur Blake, and the pick is in. So we're going to see they've got it in. It could be Brian Branch. I also like to think with the tight end starting to go, that Big O is right here to put on the other side of Kyle Pitts. But we'll see. Falcons fans going crazy. The red and black, obviously, a home field love color scheme. But the Falcons fans are going crazy. But yeah, with Reporter and Mayor going off, it makes me think everybody, all the comments say, commenters are saying that this has to be a defensive pick. They've got the weapons that they need, so we'll see what they do. BJ Ojulari is also a big pick there that I kind of think that may be a reach, but Brian Branch should be a huge pickup. So let's see what we're doing. The Atlanta Falcons pick at 38. So John Abraham's doing it. Five-time Pro Bowler. 38 with the Falcons. They went with a guard out of Syracuse, Matthew Bergeron. It was like an offensive tackle. Uh, did not see that coming up. He was second team All ACC coming out of Syracuse, the Orange. So they're saying he's definitely a technician in run blocking, and obviously Falcons are a very run-heavy team. Taking Bijan Robinson, so trying to get a little bit more protection, open up holes. So Panthers are on the clock at 39. They got 4 minutes left. So the Falcons have picked up Bijan Robinson at pick 8, and then Matthew Bergeron at 38. So congratulations to that young man. He's now an Atlanta Falcon, concentrating on run blocking for the offensive line. This is an interesting pick. And then we're going to another commercial break while Carolina, who had the number 1 overall pick, Carolina took Bryce Young. And Carolina's on the clock right now. You got about 3.5 minutes left. The New Orleans picks, and then Arizona at 41. So very interesting so far from the Falcons. We'll see what Seattle does later in the draft. We're definitely going to see what the Wolves does. I'm curious at after Bryce Young, where does Carolina go? Obviously, they don't still need the QB. They took him first overall. Offensive line looks like Michael Schmidt, Tippmann, Torrance. We've got people pop in, pop out. So if anybody wants to stay, you're more than welcome. This may be another one of those trades. Carolina trades back. Nope. As I said that, the pick is in for Carolina. It's usually a big kind of trade round. So I'm interested to see how this goes. And if anybody saw George Kittle at WrestleMania, that dude is yoked. He is huge. So if you haven't, so there we go, guys. Nobody's in right now. Again, if you watch this back, that's what we're doing. The pick is in our group chat's popping up. So maybe what spurred that is that Avila, sorry, just went, and the Falcons got a little nervous, so they traded up to go grab him because they are super run heavy. The second most rushed team in the NFL last year. You got Algier, and then you just picked up Robinson earlier in this draft. You want more run blocking, and that's what he did at Syracuse. So maybe that's the thought process there. I didn't see that coming. I really thought you would have seen Brian Branch go off the board. Would have loved Big O there to run 12-man sets. Now that the tight ends kind of made a little run, Kincaid going last night. And then Mayer goes, Laporta goes. First team to trade for first overall picks 2016 was the Panthers, who obviously picked up Bryce Young. Interesting tidbit: Nick Saban's first ever first overall pick, Bryce Young, which kind of sounds crazy to me. Is like as many good players as Saban has had over the years. I mean, LSU national championship, incredible run he's done out there. So let's just see. Jalen Hines in the top 10 available. So here we go with the Carolina pick, number 39 in 2023 draft. They're going to take Jonathan Mingo out of Ole Miss. So they went and paired Bryce Young with a weapon. Another team that ran a lot last year, so obviously they're going to go get weapons on the offensive side of the ball. And Mingo was great at Ole Miss. He's 6'1", 220. He's a big receiver. So, yeah, I watched a lot of Ole Miss games last year. Mingo looked great. They obviously played Georgia Tech. And interesting to not take Jalen Hyatt, but they wanted a bigger receiver. And Mingo's got great hands, and he's just a bigger. He's not taller, but he's a bigger guy. But he's got great hands. So go get a receiver for Bryce. I think Carolina's doing a really good job. Obviously, traded CMC last year. So at number 1 and then number 39, and they go Bryce Young and Jonathan Mingo. Obviously, those are the first pick is great, but I think they had great value with Mingo there. I don't think that was a reach at all. Saints are on the clock. First round, they took Brian Breesky out of Clemson. We're 7-10 last year, competing with the Falcons to be the bottom of the division. The division's down. It's pretty much the worst division in the NFL right now. So they are taking a good little bit of time. Maybe they're working on a trade to get more later in the draft. And the pick is in the New Orleans Saints. We'll see. It's amazing to me that Brian Branch is still available, and we're at the 40th pick. I really thought he would be gone by now. Don't be surprised if Jalen Hyatt goes right here for Big O Darnell. I think they go wide receiver right here. So we're looking at their war room right now. They seem very excited over whoever they got. Maybe it was Jalen Hyatt, and they were worried about Hyatt going right there instead of Mingo. But the two best receivers right now are coming out of Tennessee with Hyatt and then Cedric Tillman. So we'll see. Of course, we have to cushion the time a little bit, but It's about here. And then Arizona, and then it looks like Green Bay at 42. Saints fans having a lot of fun. Great town. And they're talking about it, but the pick is in, and he's about to announce it. Number 40, Isaiah Foskey is a defensive end out of Notre Dame, so they didn't go weapon. So huge sack machine at Notre Dame. I really thought they were going to go weapon to try to get Derek Carr, some younger, fresh blood in there, but I think they always thought they were very excited in the war room for the Saints. So I haven't seen a lot of tape on him bending. It's just he's quick off the ball. So it's not a lot of bending, but he is quick off the ball. But interesting pick from the Saints right there. And then Arizona is on the clock, and they have been trading picks like crazy. I would imagine. So interesting pick so far. The pick is in for the Cardinals, so they're not trading back. They're showing what I thought would be Tampa Bay, but it wasn't the color scheme for Tampa Bay. The Cardinals pick is in, and then Green Bay, and then the Jets. The Jets at 43. Their pick last night didn't make a lot of sense to me. The Jets, Cardinals, we'll see what they do. Kyler Murray obviously went and wanted a little extra protection, and that's what they did last night with Paris Johnson. And like I told everybody, it is almost 8, so I will throw SmackDown on because the WWE draft is also, so I'll listen to the NFL draft in one ear and the SmackDown WWE draft on the other. So we've got it on. I'm going to go ahead and So we'll see how this works when I'm listening to two different things. Should be interesting. The big is in for the Cardinals. And again, I'm gonna try to do both of these for 2 hours. Just hilarious. Yeah. So let's see what the Cardinals do. We're about 4 minutes away from SmackDown opening up, which are going to separate the two brands again. And the draft is going to be what's going on. So DJ Ojolari out of LSU just went. I think that's a huge pickup. The Ojolari brothers are super great athletes, huge athletes, and I love that pick for them. So he played at LSU and was just a game wrecker. So huge. Number 41, Arizona picks up BJ Ojolari, and his older brother Aziz plays in New York. He's a Georgia player, but he went to LSU. Great player, and the Cardinals don't trade back again. So now Green Bay is on the clock. Packers, and then Jets, and then Indy, who is traded already this round. And nobody's here yet. We've been going almost an hour. We've had a few people pop in, not really say anything. The Packers pick is already in. So they obviously knew who they were going fairly quick. I'm so shook that Brian Branch is calling. I mean, we're at pick 42. He's still on the board. And Packers fans who are going crazy. I don't like that color scheme, never have. The cheeseheads, but they are fanatical. And they take Luke Musgrave, tight end out of Oregon State. Wow, so Big O not going there. I'm okay with that. But big 2 games in 2022. Oregon State had a good year, so not a lot of film on him for 2022. Same thing with like Nolan Smith. I mean, he played more than 2 games, but Luke Musgrave is the tight end. Obviously, the departure of Aaron Rodgers is the big headline. Jordan Love gets another safety blanket kind of weapon in Green Bay. He did. His father played QB at Oregon. His uncle Bill was an NFL coach for 20 seasons and played. So Musgrave has got some some football blood, as they say. So the Jets have been on the clock, and the Jets pick is in right up under 2 minutes left to go. So they seemed very excited. Green Bay did about Musgrave. So cheers to that young man. He's now an NFL player, NFL talent. So way to go! I love seeing these guys work so hard, do well, and when they do, they work hard and they get rewarded for it. So that's all. I'm not here to question everything. I mean, I look at Darnell. I think he is a better tight end. But they saw something there. And the Jets had Sauce Gardner last year. The Jets had an incredible draft last year. Again, their first one kind of was a little confusing in the first round. But we'll see what their pick is right here. I would be not surprised at all if they go Brian Branch at safety and have Sauce Gardner and Brian Branch in the secondary. Would be disgusting. So SmackDown is starting to kick off. And again, they're going to split Raw and SmackDown rosters again. So it's not going to be any of these things. They went out and revealed a new World Heavyweight Championship. So the WWE draft starts right now. Living great. The Jets selection. Well, it's almost here. If the pick is in, the Jets fans very excited that are there. They're waiting, and it is going to be the center, Joe Tipman, out of Wisconsin. So Joe Tipman, center out of Wisconsin, is now a New York Jet, 6'6", 313. Huge way to anchor the center of an offensive line. And obviously, SmackDown is going to be for the tag team championships with the Usos and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Triple H is coming out now. I'm sure he's going to kick off the WWE draft. Not that it's lost on anybody that they decided to do their draft the night that the NFL draft is on. And in the wonderful world of today, I can see both of these at the same time. So the Colts are on the clock, and then it's Green Bay and the New England. I'm super intrigued what New England and Belichick are going to do at 46. But congratulations to the center going to the Jets. Tillman, way to go, man. Triple H is kicking off SmackDown, and the crowd is very hot. This will obviously not just be tonight. They're going to continue that storyline on Monday Night Raw. So the pick is in for Indianapolis. They took Anthony Richardson 4th overall. So the Colts pick is in. Triple H is going over rules of their draft. I would imagine you'd see something about like McAfee being in here. He was at WrestleMania. He did well. Colts pick is in. We're just waiting. It did say that a few from NXT are also available to go. So the first pick in the WWE draft Going to SmackDown. So SmackDown will have Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman. So that means that the other title will go over to Raw, the new World Heavyweight Championship, which they unveiled that championship last year. I mean, last week. It looks amazing. It's a great belt. So Julius Brents, quarterback out of Kansas State, goes to Indy, and they are very hype about it. So yeah, the new championship that will be awarded at Night of Champions will be exclusive to Monday Night Raw. And with pick number two, Raw goes with Cody Rhodes, so he'll be exclusive to Monday Night Raw. And like I said, Julius Brents, the quarterback out of Kansas State, goes to the Colts. And then the number three pick is going to be Smack. So Green Bay is on the no. The Lions are now on the clock. Detroit has 45th pick. So SmackDown takes Bianca Belair. Which is interesting. She's the Raw Women's Champion going to SmackDown. Will be exclusive. And then Raw will pick Becky Lynch goes to Raw, so she'll be exclusive there. But it feels like Pat McAfee would make some kind of something here if he has the time to be able to announce for WWE. So the Lions pick is in. Lions trade with the Packers. The Lions get the 45th and give the Green Bay Packers 48 and 159. So the Lions pick is in. They obviously traded up because they wanted somebody specific. So we're looking at they took Jameer Gibbs, took Jack Campbell, they took Sam Laporta, tight end, and now the Lions get a pick in the top 45. They got five picks after this. The Lions go big O right here. They need a tight end. So who do the Lions pick right here? They do need a tight end. Already got Jameer Gibbs. Already got Jack Campbell. And again, like I said, the main event for SmackDown is the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the titles. And I don't know if that's what's like happening right now because it seems like there'd be a main event match. But all four of the guys are out on the stage now. Like I said, you've got Bianca Belair, the Raw Women's Champion, going to SmackDown. Becky Lynch will stay on Raw. And again, they're splitting the brands. Cody Rhodes will be exclusively on Raw, and the Universal Champion and the Bloodline keep together, with the exception of the Usos. So Solo Sikoa, Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman stay on SmackDown. The Detroit Lions selection is coming up. Again, then New England, and then Wash. The Commanders will go with 47. And the Lions pick Brian Branch. Which again I thought was strange, so that's why they traded up to go get him. They knew that that fall was not going to keep going. Brian Branch, at right at 6 foot, 190 pounds, safety, is a hard hitting dude. So the Lions definitely traded up to go get their guy. Did not think he would be there 3 picks later. So huge pickup, I think, for Detroit. They are kind of quietly having an incredible draft. The Lions may be a little sneaky team to do great. Kevin Owens is so good on the mic, man. It's so good. Uh, they're going after it in a promo, a shoot promo, and it is doing great, invoking a lot of emotion. So I like what they're doing there. Again, Brian Branch, the safety out of Alabama, uh, big, big pickup for them. I think now the Patriots are on the clock. They got 5 minutes left. They picked up Christian Gonzalez, which I don't know how he dropped them. The pick is in. They knew who they were going. A big thing with Gibbs is that they're looking at trading Swift, who has kind of been a little bit injury prone. And so that would be kind of big news that maybe what going with Gibbs and somebody may want Swift, who doesn't have a solid running back. Again, he does have injury issues over the past couple of seasons. But when he is on the field, man, he can catch out of the backfield almost better than any running back in the country. So it looks like we'll have LA Knight versus Butch on SmackDown in the match, and then we will keep going with the WWE draft. But again, I love Brian Branch going to Detroit. Detroit's draft has been Interesting. They went running back at 12, linebacker at 18, tight end at 34, and then the safety at 45. But I don't hate what they're doing. So so obviously backlash coming up. Everybody that is a WWE fan. So the Patriots selection is getting announced. Super interesting what New England's going to do. And they are going to take Keon White out of Georgia Tech, a defensive end who has slipped down a little bit. I think that is a huge value pick. So huge pickup. I don't think because he's almost 6'5", and he just so we're looking at a little bit of highlights right now, and he's just bull rushing people and getting off the block to get after the ball. He's third team All ACC, coming out of Georgia Tech. So solid pickup by the Patriots. I feel like the Patriots always kind of like shuffle down in rounds and then just get super value picks. So Keon White out of Georgia State, defensive end, going to New England. I love what they're doing. Obviously, got Gonzalez at 17, super value pick at 17, and I feel like this is a value pick with Keon White. So very interesting. So Washington is on the clock, and then Tampa Bay has 48. Ooh, sorry guys. Ooh, that came out of nowhere. So WWE is doing a real good job to try to give them a war room to compete with what the NFL does for their draft. It's always funny to me to watch them do this. So they're getting an interview from Bianca Belair right now. I don't know if the graphics are wrong or anything. It looks like New England has back to back. I don't think that's the case. So the Buccaneers aren't picking. The pick is in, and then it's Pittsburgh, and then Green Bay. So let's see what the Bucks do. The selection. We're doing good. Again, LA Knight is going one on one with Butch as a match on SmackDown, but again, the draft is what we're worried about tonight. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selection is. We're waiting on it. We're waiting on it. We're waiting on it. Cody Mulch from North Dakota State, offensive tackle, goes to the Buccaneers. So they're trying to solidify a little bit more of that offensive line. Their fans, it looks like they've got a bunch of Killer Rush jerseys. So an FCS school breaks in at North Dakota State there. So yeah, big guy, offensive tackle, 6'5", 302. North Dakota State has been a powerhouse in the FCS for a long time. Looking at a little review of tape. I mean, the kid's good. He stays on the block, does what he needs. Let's go. So it's not holding. And in the middle, we've got Butch and LA Knight. So the Steelers are on the clock for number 49. All right, so the pick is in for Pittsburgh. The Steelers are quick on their pick. And then it's Green Bay, and then Miami gets their first pick after suspending one in the first round. And that'll be number 51. But 49, the Steelers pick is in. Last year's first round again was Kenny Pickett. They go Broderick Jones in the first round this year. So it looks like the Steelers need cornerback, offensive tackle, and interior linebacker, inside linebacker, a wideout. Does not look like a tight end is a need right there. So Big O may have to keep waiting. There are, you still got Jalen Hyatt right there at wide receiver. Steelers have 4 picks left after this one. Draft. I would look at wideout, try to get Kenny Pickett another. I mean, he's got George Pickens, who's young, dynamic, incredible hands. Having a one opposite of George Pickens would be something's in my ear, and it's just making a terrible noise. So Keanu Benton out of Wisconsin, defensive tackle, 6'3", 310, is going to the Steelers. He's now a Steeler, which means Green Bay is on the clock again. Wonder if they trade back, try to get a little bit more value. So, guys, at this point, I'm going to go grab a snack. So I'll probably jump back on the stream later. But thanks for hanging with us.